Hello everyone, this is Kamlakar sir and you are watching my YouTube channel Dattatreya Kamlakar. In today's video, we are going to discuss theoretical aspect of consignment account. So consignment account is for syllabus in BCom Part 1 Semester 1 of Shivaji University, Kolhapur. Let me introduce myself, Sri Dattatreya Kamlakar. Here is my image. About my qualifications, I have completed MCom in Advanced Accountancy with distinction and RMCom in Advanced Costing, MBA in Finance and HRM, SETNET in Commerce. Right now, I am associated with Center for Distance Education, Shivaji University, Kolhapur, as the Assistant Professor for Commerce. So, today I will conduct my today's lecture in English and Marathi language. Okay? नमस्कार विद्यार्थी मित्रांनो, या व्हिडिओमध्ये आपण पाहणार आहोत कन्साइनमेंट अकाउंट. कन्साइनमेंट अकाउंट आपल्याला बीकॉम भाग 1 ला सेमिस्टर 1 साठी आहे. चला तर सुरू करूयात मग. कन्साइनमेंट अकाउंट. मीनिंग ऑफ कन्साइनमेंट अकाउंट. A business house sells goods to its agents in another town or country to be sold on its behalf and at its risk in return for fixed rate of commission on the gross sales proceeds. The sender of goods is called a consignor or a principal, and party to whom the goods are sent is called consignee or agent. This type of transactions is called consignment. The relationship between consignor and consignee is that of principal and agent. The agent has to sell goods on behalf of and according to the instruction of the principal. In short, consignment refers to sending of goods by a principal to his agent to be sold on behalf of and at the risk of the principal in return for a fixed rate of commission on the gross sales. Types of consignment. From accounting point of view, consignments are of two types, namely outward consignment and inward consignment. To the principal, the consignment is outward consignment because he forwards or consigns goods outwards, but for the consignee or agent, it is an inward consignment. Next, necessity of consignment. In the modern world, by the application of latest technology, goods are produced on large scale in anticipation of demand, but manufacturers often find it difficult to make effective marketing of these goods to the customer spread over wide geographical area. They find it difficult to have their own distribution system in vast market. Hence, they are forced to take the assistance of dealers in different areas for a effective distribution of goods. But due to competitive conditions prevailing in the market, the local dealers in different areas do not come forward to take up the distribution work. In such a situation, manufacturers find it convenient to appoint their own agents in different areas to promote their sale on consignment basis and dump their goods with them. In such cases, the agent concerned neither block up their working capital in the goods nor bear any business risk. They simply keep the goods in their possession and earn commission on the goods sold. Hence, number of parties come forward for obtain dealership or agency, and manufacturers can effectively promote their sales in their help. The agents, being local, are aware of the market condition and push up the sales with easily. Next, consignment versus sales. दोहोंमधला डिफरन्स काय आहे? ओनरशिप. In consignment, ownership in goods remain with the consignor. It does not pass on the consignee. Sales मध्ये ownership is a goods passes on from seller to buyer. Risk. Consignment risk connect with the goods lies with the consignor. In sales, risk connect with the goods passes to the buyer. Relationship. Consignment. Relationship between consignor and consignee is that of like principal and agent, and sales, relationship between the seller and buyer is that of creditors and debtors in credit sales. Expenses. Expenses incurred on the goods are borne by the consignor in case of consignment. Expenses incurred on goods are to be borne by purchaser in case of sales. Return of goods. Unsold goods can be returned by the consignee to the consignor at any time. In sales, goods once sold cannot be returned except for some special reasons. Next is a procedure of consignment. 1. Consignor select the consignee and enters into consignment contract with him. The provisions in consignment contract determine methods of sales, nature of goods to be sold, the rate of commission, and the working procedure. Then consignor sends goods to the consignee along with pro forma invoice on regular basis and incur expenses on consignment. The consignee sells the goods continuously as per the direction given by the consignor and incur the expenses out of the sales proceeds and remit the balance sales proceed to the consignor after deducting his commission. The consignee sends account sales to the consignor at a regular intervals. The account sales provides the detailed information about the goods sold during the period, advance paid by the consignee if any, expenses incurred by the consignee, and the commission receivable by him and balance payable to consignor. On the basis of such accounts sold, received at a regular intervals and other vouchers, the consignor maintains the accounts of consignment and consignee. The consignment accounts reveals the profit or loss on consignment, whereas the consignee accounts reveals the amount receivable from the consignee. The consignee maintains the consignor's account to ascertain amounts payable to him. We can see the important terms in consignment account. Number 1 is commission. The consignee sells the goods on behalf of the consignor and as per his instructions. For rendering his services as an agent of a consignor, he is entitled to a remuneration. Such a remuneration is in the form of commission on goods sold on behalf of consignor. The commission is generally conducted on the gross sales proceed of the goods. In some cases, the commission is payable on the invoice price of the goods sold on the excess of amount realized over the over and above invoice price on the net profit on consignment. Next, del credit commission. In the normal course of when consignee sells goods on credit, he is not responsible for the bad debts arising therefrom. But if the consignee undertakes the risk of bad debts arising from the credit sales, the consignor agrees to pay a special commission for this special service. It is called del credit commission. Hence, when del credit commission is paid to consignee, he is responsible for all the bad debts arising from credit sales. The del credit commission may be computed as fixed percentage on total sales or on credit sales. In absence of any clear agreement, however, del credit commission is to be computed on total cash and credit sales. Next, overriding commission. Sometimes in order to motivate the consignee to strive for higher sales, a commission over and above the ordinary commission and del credit commission is paid by the consignor. This extra commission is called overriding commission. It is calculated at fixed percentage on total sales. Next, pro forma invoice. Since goods sent on consignment is not a normal sale, the consignor cannot prepare a sales invoice. Instead, he prepares pro forma invoice. A statement similar to sales invoice sent by the consignor for the goods sent on consignment is called pro forma invoice. It contains the description, quantity, price of goods sent and other necessary information. True, it is very much similar to sales invoice. It does not make the consignee indebted to consignor until the goods are sold by him. Hence, it is called pro forma invoice. It merely conveys the price, value, description of goods to the consignee. Next, account sales. Either on completion of the sales or periodical intervals, the consignee sends a detailed accounts of the sales affected by him in form of statement, which is called account sales. It gives the complete details of gross sales made by the consignee on behalf of consignor, expenses incurred by the consignee on behalf of consignor, commission due to him for the work done, advances paid by him, if any, in respect of consignment, the final net amount due from consignee to the consignor. Next, account sales versus pro forma invoice. Difference between these both, account sales and pro forma invoice. Account sale is prepared and sent by the consignee to the consignor, whereas pro forma invoice is prepared and sent by the consignor to the consignee. Account sale contains the particulars of the goods actually sold by consignee. Pro forma invoice contains the particulars of goods sent by the consignor to the consignee for a sale. Account sale is normally prepared at a periodical interval. Pro forma invoice is prepared only once when goods are dispatched. Account sale makes the consignee indebted to the consignor. Pro forma invoice does not make any consignees indebted. Account sale serves as a basis of bookkeeping entries. Pro forma invoice does not serve as a basis of bookkeeping entries. Next, we will see the accounting treatment in consignment accounts, where consignor maintains the following accounts in respect of consignment. 1. Consignment account. 2. Consignee's account. and maybe he maintained goods sent on consignment account. Next, we can see the format of consignment account. Here is the format of consignment account. If existing consignment is going on, then opening stock will be there in a consignment account. So that will be debited to that opening stock will be debited to consignment account debit. So consignment on stock account, where we can take down the opening stock. Second, goods sent on consignment account. So that is what goods sent in current year to the consignee by the consignor. Cost of goods sent. Next, if any expenses paid by the consignor, that means payment is gone, so cash or bank account credit. So it is also come to the debit side of consignment account, expenses by consignee. Next, expenses by consignee, that will be credited to the consignee's account, okay, and debited to the consignment account, expenses of consignee. Next, sales. So sales is made by the consignee, so consignee account debit to the consignee. That is sales proceed by of goods, whatever sales made by the consignee on behalf of consignee. Next, if any goods returned by the consignee to the consignor, that same account, if when received goods, the goods sent on consignment account will be credited. If returning the goods, the same account will be debited. So goods sent on consignment account will be debited as a goods return amount. Okay. Next, commission paid to consignee. So that's why it is expenditure. So debited to consignment account on the consignee's account, whatever commission on the sales proceed. Commission is always based on sales. Okay. Next, finally, we need to calculate the stock on consignment account. It means opening stock plus goods received minus sales, whatever remain, it is a closing stock on consignment. So here is the closing stock. Okay. So now this is a basic requirement in this format of a consignment account. You need to learn properly, because all next solutions will be depend on this format. So always we are considering the consignment is in profit, so credit side will be higher. So credit side higher than credit side total minus whatever debited amounts, whatever 1, 2, 3, 4 debited amounts, and whatever remained, it is credited to general profit and loss account. That is transfer of profit from one consignment to the net profit and loss account of the business. Next we can see the format of consignee's account. Format of consignee's account. Okay. Pro forma of consignee account. So here is the pro forma of consignee account. So consignee account debit side to consignment account, that is second effect of sales proceed done by the consignee, and so that's why here is the consignment account is credited. So amount will be goods sales proceed by the consignee. Okay, that is the sales amount made by the sales proceed made by the consignee, so debited to that. Next, if any advance given by the consignee, then in form of cash, if the advance is given in cash, so by cash. If check is given by bank, or any bills receivable also given, that case bills receivable account is debited to the consignee, that is advance from the consignee. Next, that is expenses we see in the debit side of consignment account, so that expenses made by the consignee will be credited here, and that is also commission to the consignee which is debited into the consignment account. Second effect of both the accounts will be credited here, and balance amount is paid in cash, or in case of check or bills receivable, or still it is a pending, then the balance carried down shown as a balance carried down. So total, obviously debit side will be higher, minus all the expenses, commission and advances, whatever the balance amount will be payable after the due course of the action. So this is a simple format of a consignee account and consignment account. From next we will see the goods sent on consignment account. It is a debit consignment account. Debit, we see the item goods sent on consignment account. So obviously debit effect will become here as a credit effect. So here is the by consignment account, whatever goods sent, and finally end of the year that goods will be transferred to trading account of the main financial statement. So next we will see the basic accounting methods in the consignments. There are basically two methods, cost price method and second is invoice price method. Let's learn the cost price method. It means whatever the production cost of the goods, say 100 rupees, and that goods sent to the consignee at same price, that is cost price, 100चा माल 100 रुपयाला, 100 रुपीजचा माल 100 रुपीजला जर आपण consigneeला सेंड करत असू, that is called cost price method. In cost price method, we need to calculate the valuation of a closing stock. We need to calculate in both method valuation of closing stock. So while closing the consignment account, it is important to value of the unsold goods at the each consignment at accurately as possible as per the conservatism accounting principle, that is at cost or market price, whichever is less to take into the account. Valuation of a closing stock आपण कसं करतो, तर market price or cost price, whichever is less. The cost price of such goods include proportionate non-recurring expenses incurred by consignor as well as consignee. It will be the more clarification in an actual example. So calculation of the stock or stock valuation is made as cost price of a closing consignment stock plus proportionate non-recurring expenses incurred by both the parties, consignor and consignee, that is your cost of closing stock or market price of a stock, whichever is less is your value of a closing stock. Next concept we need to understand in this type of a consignment topic is normal loss, that is loss on goods sent on consignment. Normal loss refers to a loss which is inherent and forms a part of a business loss. It is a loss which is unavoidable due to nature of the goods. It is bound to occur even if almost here and precautions are taken in packing, handling of goods. Loss of goods because of evaporation, leakage, shrinkage, material handling, wetment, dusting, etc. are the example of normal loss. When there is a normal loss, it is not required to be recorded separately in the books of accounts, but only the value of stock of goods will be increased proportionately. Next, abnormal loss. Abnormal loss refers to loss caused by accident, negligence or natural calamity. It is not due to the nature of goods and can be avoided. For instance, losses caused by theft, fire, raid, flood, earthquake, etc. As per the principle of accounting, such loss should not be affect the normal profitability of a business. Hence, the separate treatment for abnormal loss is given in the books of accounts. Next price method is invoice price method. This is second method in a consignment account. Sometimes consignor prepares the pro forma invoice for the goods consigned at a price above the cost price. This is done to conceal the real profit of the consignment from consignee. The excess amount charged over and above the original cost of goods is called loading. In case of goods are sent on consignment at higher invoice price, the loading will be presented or appear in the consignment account itself. Okay, the exact profit on consignment sales, however, cannot be ascertained unless the above four items is reduced to the cost price. Therefore, if the goods are invoiced or consigned at above the cost price are recorded accordingly, the proper adjustment should be done before balancing the consignment account in order to ascertain the accurate consignment profit. For doing so, adjustment entries will need to remove the loading on the same goods. So in invoice price method, 100 rupees goods sent to the consignee like a 110, that is 10% profit, 20% profit, 30% profit. It means consignor sells goods to the consignee above the cost price. It means cost price, we assume that 100 rupees. If we are making profit of 25% on cost, it means we send the goods to the consignee at a price of 125. That is on cost. It means here we are assuming the cost price is 100. So next, on sales price or on invoice price, here we need to assume the sales price is 100. On that basis, we need to calculate the loading. More suitability of this concept clarity, we go for the practical examples, and there your doubts will be absolutely clear. Now this is a basic and theoretical aspect of consignment account. If you do not understand this video, you need to read, you need to see again and again. You need to understand each and everything from this video, because this is a basic and theoretical aspect which are required for the practical solutions for such a practical solutions of a consignment account. Thank you for this video watching. Subscribe my YouTube channel Dattatreya Kamlakar. If you have any queries or doubts, please WhatsApp me on my mobile number 973 000 5683. In next video, we will come with a practical example on consignment which is a practical example of a previous question paper of Shivaji University, Kolhapur. Let's see you in the next video. Thank you.